So the first thing that I would like to talk about today is apparently, according to the original composer of Kiryu Coco's original song Weather Hackers, they say, quote, Weather Hackers has been illegally registered as a copyright holder by an unrelated third party. Is this the second one? The Graduation Live version of Kiryu Coco channel is also subject to copyright claims, even though this is the original video. If watching the Graduation Live version shows that the money is going to a third party, then it's not a question of money. I think it's terrible to do something like this to such an important video. And yeah, I think we can all unanimously agree that these copyright trolls falsely claiming the revenue for works that they did not make is scummy, irritating, and YouTube owes it to its creators to step in and fucking do something about these false copyright claims. Now, formerly Coco, now Kason, is aware of this situation and she is pissed, but it's unclear what, if anything, she can do about it. Now, the biggest problem with someone falsely claiming a video is the fact that in order to contest that video, you have to hand them over basically all of your personal information. And a lot of people just aren't willing to do that and would rather just get scammed out of their hard-earned money than send a copyright troll their real name and address. And when perusing the comment section, people are saying that the same company that's doing this to the Coco song have done this to thousands of songs all across YouTube. However, as anyone who is aware of Hololive's history is already aware, Cover Corp has a very litigious legal team, and I agree with this commenter who says, I hope Cover is gonna fuck them up. And I have to say, regardless of what you think of Cover's legal team, whether you like them or you think they go too far, I think we all universally are rooting for Cover's legal team to absolutely fucking destroy this person. Will that happen? It's hard to say. This is likely an international lawsuit, and those get complicated and messy real fast. The next bit of news I wanted to cover is about a VTuber named Shiori, and according to this post, it says a VirtualReal talent almost died and had to attend a 3D event before she could recover. They go on to say that the talent in question, Shiori, recently suffered liver damage with an ALT at fatal levels. She almost died, but this coincides with the Bilibili event where VirtualReal has a 3D live segment. Instead of canceling Shiori's segment, they asked her to participate in the pre-event rehearsal before she could fully recover. She had to sign a disclaimer so the hospital isn't at fault should she die of her conditions after she was discharged early. Now, I personally don't know much about Shiori or VirtualReal, but I don't think you need to know any more context than this to fully and adamantly agree this is some fucked up shit. No VTuber live event is worth damaging the health of a talent. I will always put human beings at the top and the needs of a corporation at the very, very bottom. So for a corporation to prioritize their own interests over the well-being of their talents is unforgivable in my opinion. Honestly, the very first comment sums up my opinion so well. I don't get how these companies turn a job about streaming with anime avatars and playing video games into literal death traps. Working around heavy machinery is safer than working for any of these companies. The next bit of news I wanted to cover is this post on Kurosanji that reads, so I kinda quote interviewed some Niji sisters, and this is what I got from them. And for anyone unfamiliar with the term, a Niji sister is just someone who actively defends Niji Sanji and their wrongdoings, despite the fact that the overwhelming majority of the fan base is aggressively anti-Niji. And some interesting highlights include, apparently the majority of Niji sisters are aware that Niji Sanji is a dogshit company, they just don't think it rises to the level of being called a black company. Hot take, I don't think you have to be literally a black company working your employees until they either destroy their health or kill themselves to be worthy of criticism. And even if that were the metric, I think Niji Sanji is a black company. So let me shoot down point number one right off the bat. The second point is that Niji sisters believe they are the only ones qualified to criticize Niji Sanji because other people are doing it in bad faith, whereas they are real fans. Again, no, you don't need to be a fan of something to notice the flaws with that thing. This is nonsense. Gunshot to their second point. Their third point is that Niji Sanji is the only company where male talent frequently collabs with female talent. And as they say that, I'm immediately thinking of Kureiji Ali and Gerard, or Kobo Kanaru and Regis Altair. And before I could even realize that I'm thinking almost exclusively of Indonesian talents, I read this line that says, most of them replied with, "Sorry, I don't watch ID." Which, number one, I feel like you're making a mistake. The Indonesian talents are at least as entertaining as the English-speaking talents, and most of them speak English anyway. And also, if you would expand your horizons beyond corporate level, you will find that indie VTubers collab with male VTubers all the time. We've got Sayu and Monarch. We've got Chibi and Nags. We've got so many examples outside of Hololive of men and women collaborating as VTubers. This is such a nonsense point. Hell, even if we are only talking about Hololive EN girls, Elizabeth has collabed with Gerard. This is such an infuriatingly nonsense take. Get your lips off of Niji Sanji's asshole for 5 minutes and expand your horizons beyond your extremely tiny little niche of content that you enjoy. And I know what you're thinking. There's no way their takes could get any worse. Yet somehow they do. With this next point being, most Niji sisters think that waiting for a Niji Sanji talent to graduate and go back to their past life is no different than asking a Niji talent to go die. Which, what? And I know that sounds like nonsense, but they clarify in the follow-up point so that you can truly understand the levels of their insanity. Because in this next point they say, when a Niji sister's Niji Oshi graduated, most of the Niji sisters expressed that they will either move on to another Niji talent who does similar things, or just straight up stop watching Niji Sanji altogether. Because, according to their next point, most of the Niji sisters express they will not follow their Niji Oshi to their past life or reincarnation because they became different to them. Those 3 points, which are all basically 1 point split into 3, are basically saying they literally only like the model and the Niji Sanji branding, because everything else about them is the same. If they rebrand, they're still the same human being. I don't give a shit if he rebranded as Doki Bird, it's still the same fucking human being under the avatar. Still got the same laugh, still got the same sense of humor, still got that die-hard work ethic. Nothing meaningful about that content creator has changed. How deep into this cult of fantasy that Niji Sanji has created do you have to bury your head into for you to not follow the human being who provided you with so much entertainment outside of their corporate shackles? And their remaining few points can be summarized as everyone who disagrees with Niji Sanji are a bunch of drama tubers, antis, and liars. Which, I don't know why this post is making me as irritated as it is, because at some level I already knew a lot of these points, but just seeing someone else gather these hot takes and condense them into one place like this and tie it off with such a neat little bow, and understanding the fact that there is a large enough number of people who share this mindset to be worthy of making an entire post about, is just so disheartening. Look, listen to me. I like the avatars. I do. I think the anime avatar idea is a really neat gimmick. And I think the lore and the branding is really appealing. And a little bit of the kayfabe is genuinely fun. It's what attracted me to the hobby in the first place. There's a lot of good shit in this hobby that is unique to your avatar and your persona and your branding. I don't think anyone is arguing against that. But if I started streaming with a different model, with different lore and a different aesthetic, and I lost half my fan base just because it, quote, feels different, yeah, I'd be a little bit pissed off. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my demon avatar and I would never want to get rid of it. But if you told me that the demon avatar was the only reason you were showing up, I'd honestly question whether I wanted to even keep you as a fan. So out of pure spite, I will be covering this next segment with this avatar. So the next piece of news I wanted to talk about was about a VTuber named Klara. And apparently she's been facing a lot of calls for her to resign from Niji Sanji and strike it out as an indie. And although I and many other people genuinely feel like, with Niji Sanji being as bad as it is, that it would ultimately benefit the creator for them to graduate, leave, and rebrand, and with how Doki Bird and many others have proven that a large portion of your audience will carry over, and you can sometimes even achieve greater heights with a rebrand. I do agree to a point that it would be good for a lot of these talents to move on. However, that being said, I think it is both unfair, rude, and disrespectful to the intelligence and free will of the talent to harass the talent in trying to convince them to quit. Because no matter what I believe as an individual, ultimately, I'm not them, it's not up to me, and it shouldn't be up to me, or any of you for that matter. And to not respect that is to quite simply not respect the talent. Because if you did respect them, you would respect their autonomy. Now, apparently Klara has made a number of statements about the matter, and I'll go ahead and play that clip for you guys now.
Yeah, before we get into the sappy stuff, and before we, start like this spoopy train game, which I'm really excited, there's just one thing I would like to address real quick, okay? And don't worry, it's not like anything super big or anything like that. It's nothing too serious, but just something I wanted to clarify for sure. I have been seeing those comments that are just like, Klara, you have potential. Quit Niji-sanji. And, obviously I ignore them, but if it's going to the point where it's gonna make my kojamas, feel awkward, then this is where I'm gonna address it right. No, thank you. I'm really happy where I am. I'm happy being here in Niji-sanji. I'm glad to be here. I have people who care about me. I enjoy doing my work. I'm really happy to be here. If your statements are just like, oh, I care about you, you should leave the company, then honestly, just don't come here. Your opinion just makes me uncomfortable, so just stop. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Next time, if I see comments like that, I'm just gonna block them all, alright? Because I am happy where I am. I choose to be here. I enjoy being here, and I'm happy. I've had enough. Like, there is a limit, okay? Stop making the people in my chat uncomfortable.
Some people might find it harsh for her to say that if you don't support her saying at Niji-sanji to just leave entirely. I honestly have a lot of respect for her for saying something like that, even though I disagree with her. Because at the end of the day, if the talent is happy, I am happy for them. I mean, for fuck's sake, isn't that the entire point? If we want what's best for the talent, and they believe where they are is what's best for them, then shut the fuck up. Alright, and we're back in the default avatar to bring you the last segment, less of a news segment, and more of just something that interested me that I think might interest you guys. And that is the fact that there is an anime that has been released about being a VTuber. It's not based on a pre-existing talent, doing like some animated shorts or whatever. It's a real anime that has conjured up their own fake VTuber to tell a compelling story. And rather than playing Kyo's entire video, I'll just play a particular segment from the video that I think might get your attention, and I think might get you to come around on the whole idea of this anime.
With Hikari being the pure angel that she is, like any degenerate VTuber fan, Yuki wants to ruin her, saying that she's getting pregnant from the stream and acting like most unhinged VTubers do after hearing cute girls doing cute things, and allegedly goons to the stream, something other real VTubers do quite often. Allegedly.
So, if I've piqued your interest, the anime is called VTuber Legend: How I Went Viral After Forgetting to Turn Off My Stream. Or if you just want to see Kyo's review of the video, check out his second channel, Kyo, and see what the VTuber News Bunny has to say about this anime. But that's all I wanted to say. Thank you all for showing up. Comment your hot takes about today's news in the comment section down below. Bye, guys!